we recently saw this blow up earlier this week when a Republican member of Congress decided to end his reelection bid, essentially when he was forced to admit that he had an affair right at the 11th hour of his runoff election. And it wasn't just any affair, bear in mind. This gentleman here, US Representative Van Taylor, a Republican from Plano, Texas, who also happened to be the author of Texas's bathroom bill and has known as a track record of having very, very big anti-LGBTQIA+ stance. Well, he made the stunning announcement on Wednesday, hours after he finished his 5-way primary with 49% of the vote, just missing the cutoff for winning the Republican primary outright. And the day before the primary, well, that conservative outlet Breitbart posted news of Taylor having a months-long affair with this Plano woman, Tanya Joya. And also, there's the thought that he paid her $5,000 to keep it quiet. Well, that ain't enough money for me to keep quiet. It wasn't for her, that's for sure. The 38-year-old said she fell in love with Taylor while working on a re-education program for former extremists, something she knew quite a bit about because Joya, well, she dreamed of being a suicide bomber. She's a former jihadist, but she also abandoned Muslim after being taken to Syria by her Texas Muslim husband, John Georgalis, who said, is said to have been killed in 2017 and allegedly was the head of an Islamic State. Indeed, this woman here, the former jihadist, well, she had that relationship with Van Taylor, who is married, a veteran, and also has 3 daughters. Well, Burma, who commented on the affair, said, how does that differ to how her first husband treated her in terms of her relationship with Taylor? They both manipulated her to get what they wanted, and that's probably being a little unkind to terrorists. He was a teenage ideologue radicalized into fighting for ISIS, whereas Van Taylor is a Harvard-educated US congressman. He is the one who should have known better. Taylor issued an apology for the affair, saying, about a year ago, I made a horrible mistake that has caused deep hurt and pain among those I love in this world. Taylor wrote in an email to supporters, I had an affair, it was wrong, and it was the greatest failure of my life, and I want to apologize for the pain I've caused with my indiscretion, most of all, my wife, Anne, and our 3 daughters. Wow, I guess Taylor had a lapse in judgment for those 9 months that he was sexing this woman. Kyla?
Honestly, again, just another family value Republican showing his smile in public and his behind in private. Honestly, America First should have an asterisk next to it in the case of extramarital affairs, out-of-state abortions, and attending white supremacist events. Truly disgusting behavior on his part, but again, I am not surprised. These people are full of contradictions. They're full of falsities, and yeah, I totally condone his behavior, and I'm glad he dropped out. He definitely does not deserve to sit at any type of elected office.
It's wild to me, number one, that he maintained this affair with this former jihadist, but also that he is, like you said, out in these streets proclaiming family values and talking about people engaging in sexual behavior that he finds to be abominable and completely and totally disgusting. He's out here regulating people, impacting trans youth and trans lives with this horrid bathroom bill. And behind closed doors, he is running amok. And the thought also of paying this woman $5,000, apparently helping her with her credit card bill. Come on, what's that gonna pay for her silence? $5,000, yeah, right, nobody got time for that. There's a reason that this woman ended up sharing the information she did with Breitbart, because I'm sure they paid her more.
I just don't understand some of these men. If you're gonna do some dirt, at least have the money to pay for it.
Thank you. Thank you. It's like, give somebody some real cash. Because this dude, Taylor, he got what he paid for, which was like a few months of silence until a better bidder came along. It's just, and I am also shocked that he did resign without being pushed out. Because he got, as you mentioned, or as I mentioned, 49% of the vote, and he needed 50% to get that Republican nomination. So he was right there. And his district really was pushing for him. And just for this information to come out now, of course, the day before his primary, and then he steps down so quickly. Wow, it makes me think that there's probably more information out there about him, given how these Republicans are willing to stay in office despite the worst of worst charges against them, or even just pending accusations against them. Any last words, Kyla?
I hope he felt that it was all worth it.
I'm sure he'll find something, that's for sure.